Hello, everyone. This is James with Unity, and I'm really happy to be here with you today. Thanks for sharing with me on this Thursday, March the 9th, 2023. Yeah, we're right in the middle of spring. We're getting ready to shift our time. We're going to be springing forward this coming Sunday. So don't forget to set your clocks for that. But we're also experiencing some glorious weather, and it's been really beautiful. Our temperatures are going to kind of drop down to a little more normal kind of weather for March for us. And so I just want to report that give you a weather report, practice being a weatherman. You never know, someday. Whatever. Anyway, not that I have any interest in that. On Tuesday, we started talking about the idea of how to play the waiting game. How to play the waiting game. Have you noticed that in life we spend a lot of time having to wait? To wait on this, to wait on that, to wait on the other thing, go through line at the restaurants to get your food. You have to wait. You have to wait at the DMV to renew your driver's license, to get your tags, et cetera, et cetera. It's constantly waiting. All of us are waiting for the world to change, as the song goes. We're waiting for the world to change. There's a lot of waiting going on in your life and in mine. So how to play the waiting game? It's not waiting in and of itself, but it's how you wait that makes all the difference. The scripture we're using is from Isaiah 40:31. It says, "But those who wait on the Lord," or the higher mind, the higher principle, "shall renew their strength." We get strength. We're renewed. Our energy is renewed through the waiting process when we are engaged in the process. It says, "They shall mount up or rise up with wings like eagles." So it's the idea that you will grow wings so that you can fly, so that you can soar in your life. In what you do. If you want to soar, you have to know how to wait. Says they shall run and not be weary. And we know that being resolves tiredness. It resolves the exhaustion that sometimes we experience. And we run out of energy fast. It's because we're not using our waiting periods as renewal times. It says they shall walk and not faint. Life is a consistent walk. Don't rush it. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy your state of being, right? So that's the scripture we're using. The word wait in Hebrew is kawa, Kawa, which means entwining. Imagine two ropes being braided into each other so that in the end, you don't know where one starts and the other ends. And this idea is, on a spiritual level, becoming entangled or entwined with divinity. This is what the idea of waiting really is. It is that sense of connection where we're not just kind of waiting around, bored, that kind of thing, but it is more a process of embracing the waiting, embracing what is the silence, embracing whatever activity that you're involved in the moment, and being with that and becoming aware of the divine spirit in the midst of it. whatever you're experiencing right now, I'm sure that you're waiting upon different things, but if you can just be aware of that spiritual presence in the midst of where you are right now, and allow yourself to become entangled, to be entwined like the rope being braided together. That's a better picture of what waiting really is. Now, in the Greek, waiting is an active verb. That to wait is to be aware through all of the senses of what is occurring around you and discerning the right time to do the next thing. Now, can I say that again in case you missed it? The idea of waiting in the Greek understanding is to be aware through all of your senses of what is occurring around you and discerning the right time to do the next thing. It's important to realize and to understand that there is always a timing involved in everything. In the Bible, it uses the words in the fullness of times. Jesus came. In the fullness of times, this particular situation was resolved. In the fullness of time, the pregnant woman gives birth. So it is understanding that if what you desire isn't happening outwardly yet, it is because there is there is a process of waiting or engaging, embracing, and being aware and discerning and watching and paying attention to everything that's going on around you, because there are opportunities and doors that are opening and closing all the time. But if we're not paying attention, many times we miss those windows of opportunity, those open doors. And it's because that in our waiting we fall asleep many times. Have you ever been waiting in line and just like you just zone out, you just tune out and just why am I here? What is this about? And you enter into an idea of complaining and resisting what is happening. And so that causes us to not fully experience the moment, because there are all kinds of opportunities around us. There are all kinds of windows and doors that are opening and closing. And if we're paying attention, we may look around and see someone that we need to connect with. We might see a book that we need to purchase. We might see, a situation just beginning to open up that we need to engage in. So it's important, and to be aware through all of your senses of what is occurring around you and learning to discern the right timing to do the next thing. Yeah, that's beautiful. So in the fullness of time, what is the fullness of time? Well, it's being pregnant. When you're expecting the child, the mother, after the first month, second month, third month, she's happy. The first trimester, she's feeling pretty good. And then, things continue to grow and get bigger and bigger. And finally, in her 8th month, she is very uncomfortable because she knows there's a fullness of time, and the time is approaching when something is going to break. The water breaks. And after that moment, then the baby, begins its process in coming into the physical world. And so in the fullness of times, think of it like being pregnant. and expecting. I love this idea of expecting. Of course, the mother knows that she's going to be giving birth. She's expecting the birth to happen. And that's the way that we want to be. We want to be expectant. We want to be expecting what it is that we desire to come into manifestation. We need to see it in our minds. We need to feel it in our hearts. We need to meditate on it, contemplate on it, and allow it to stir within us, allow it to grow within it until in the fullness of times, there's just no doubt it's time. It's time to deliver the baby, the fresh idea, the new invention, the new way of being, the new habit, the new you that you want to be. And so having that expectant attitude that you believe, that you trust that it will come to pass. And this is having to do with faith, of course. And it's also another really good way to look at waiting is to think about a professional waiter in a restaurant. What is that waiter doing? Well, there are some waiters who just go through their time and they're just thinking, oh, here I've got to be on my feet. I've got to do all this and I don't want to do this, but they do it because they need the money. And then there are those waiters who fully engage. And it is almost as if they're saying, how may I serve? When they come to you, how may I serve you? What would you like to eat? What would you like to drink? What do you need? And they know how to be with you. They know how to take your order and make it pleasant, make it fun, make it interesting, and a joyful process. That's what a good waiter or waitress does. They know how to do that. And they take your order and they come back and they'll give you water and refresh your drinks and ask you if you want more breadsticks or whatever it is, or bread, or if you need anything. Maybe you dropped your fork, and but they're attentive. They're paying attention to what's going on, and they see, oh, you dropped a fork. And if it's within their I've had waiters and waitresses who just rush over and they bring me a brand new fork and they pick up the old one. It's like it never happened. It's amazing when you get good service. And that's what the divine is requiring of us, is that we, look out into the world and we say, how may I serve? How may I serve this divinity? How may I bring about this divinity and physicality? And we constantly ask ourselves, how can I serve in the highest and best and most appropriate way in this moment? What does this moment call for? What do I need to do? And so I want to be like that waiter. I want to be available, to be watching, to be observing, to be embracing this present moment, to listen for instructions and notice what is needed in the moment, what is really needed in the moment. And am I really paying attention? Am I listening? Am I watching? Am I observing? Using all of my senses. Does the food smell right? you know, is the way that I'm presenting myself, am I being intrusive, or am I not paying attention at all? These are things that a good waiter waitress has to consider, because I want to notice what is needed and attend to that, attend to what is truly and genuinely needed in each and every moment. Now, there's some things that can kind of get in the way. Something called self-pity. A lot of folks spend a lot of their time, feeling sorry for themselves. I've had that experience in my life. I've, gotten into self-pity. felt sorry for myself and said, "Oh, woe is me, and what am I going to do now? And why is this happening? And how come this hasn't happened yet? Why am I in this situation?" And these kinds of things. And that's that self pity party that we go to, but it's not really a party because it's not really fun. So self pity is one thing that you have to be aware of when you're getting into self pity. It's because in that moment you've allowed your vibration to drop below a certain level, and then you become aware of your flaws and your shortcomings and what isn't working, rather than thinking about your talents, your gifts, your abilities, and what is working. That's what you want to focus on. You always want to focus on what you are able to do instead of so much what you can't do. Boredom is another thing that people have today. And the truth of it is, we make ourselves bored. I like to tell people that if you're coming to the party, don't wait for somebody else to make the party. You bring the energy to the party. You bring your joy. You bring your compassion. You bring your care. You bring your wisdom, your knowledge, and your understanding, and your ability to have fun. Bring it into every situation. You don't have to be bored. Boredom is something that we do because we're in resistance. We just don't like the way things are, so we're just going to act like we are just bored with it. And it's another persona that the ego mind uses in order to cover up its um, negative thinking. Which is something that we get into, is that negative thinking, you know, and impatience. What is impatience? Impatience is just the feeling and the energy that we don't like the moment that we're in. It's the energy of, I don't like the now. I don't want to be here now. I want to be somewhere else. I want to be doing something else. And so we're impatient and we're not allowing the moment to express through us and be whatever it needs to be. You know, we just need to let it be, let it be, let it be. These words of wisdom, let it be, let it be. So complaining, ooh, that's another one. Complaining about how things are not the way that you want them to, or blaming somebody, blaming others for what's going on in your life. And how many have gotten to the point to where you realize that it's no use in blaming others, even if they had a part, they had a hand into whatever's happened. Maybe the waiter came and dumped the bowl of soup all over your clothes. What are you going to do about it? You could get mad, you could scream, you could complain, you could, get upset and cause your blood pressure to spike, and or you could just say, well, stuff happens. Sometimes people drop the soup. Sometimes, they make the soup and for whatever reason it's cold and it's not hot. Well, so you just, okay, so how are we going to fix this? And you just let it unfold, and you'll discover that if you just let it work itself out, that a lot of times, you get a free meal or something good will come from it. Maybe they will dry clean your clothes for you, or give you the money to do it, and see, we have to make allowance for unpleasant things to happen in our life because it's going to happen. Some days you're going to get up and you're going to make your perfect cup of coffee, and oh my goodness, it's tastes. You take one drink and it's so good, and you set it down and it falls off the counter, and then the perfect blend, the perfect drink has, been spilled. So what do? Well, you say to yourself, sometimes I spill the coffee, and that's okay. You make yourself another cup, or you go through the drive-through and get you another one, or you maybe get some at work, or or at the next place that you go. There's always a way to work these things out. And sometimes, if you're paying attention, those kind of situations can lead to opportunities, believe it or not. I've had situations like that where we burn the dinner, and so I have to go to a restaurant and pick up food. And while I'm there, I meet somebody and have a very pleasant conversation. And maybe we talk about things that really needed to be talked about. It's amazing how this kind of thing happens on a regular basis. And even if it doesn't, it's okay. Just let life be what it is. If you spilled the coffee, if you burned the toast, if you forget, something, or you don't make your appointment on time, or somebody doesn't show up when they say they're going to, it's all okay. The world is not coming to an end. It's just the regular stuff of life, right? It's the regular stuff. So just let it be regular. Let it be what it is. And if you can develop that kind of an attitude about life, you'll soon find that more things will work out and things will be a lot easier, because instead of getting stuck in self-pity and negative thinking and impatience and blaming and accusing, you go back to this state of calm and quiet. And because you're still waiting upon the Lord, you're waiting upon the presence, you're waiting upon the higher mind. See, the higher mind is working in and through and around all of this. So just allow the higher mind, the higher forces to do the work. The higher power has a specific job to do, and that is to take care of you. So let it happen, let yourself just be with what is. Let it be the way it is. And you soon discover that everything is okay. That's one of the things that I learned whenever I'm giving a talk. And sometimes I may forget my point, or may forget where I am in my talk, or maybe I will say the wrong thing, or will drop my notes, or something will happen. And I've learned to just have fun with it. Just have fun with it. If you say the wrong thing, then you turn it into a joke. If you drop the paper on the floor, and I've done this, then I use that. I say, listen, I said, I want you right now to develop your sense of detachment and pay no attention to that piece of paper on the floor, and just continue to be present with me as we go through this talk. And it's so much fun to find these little workarounds in life, and to be creative, because the creativity is what will feed you. The creativity is what will keep you in a state of joy, in a state of calm, in a state of relaxation. Now, the final thing I want to say about the word wait, W-A-I-T, is this one thing. Why am I talking? W-H-A-I-T. Why am I talking? Are you communicating or just complaining? That's important. So true waiting upon the Lord, the higher principle, is beingness, embracing, paying attention, observing, noticing what's needed in the moment, being present with it. And remember the Greek definition: to be aware through all of your senses of what is occurring around you, and discerning the right time to do the next thing. Wow. So a lot to think about here, but ask yourself, why am I talking? Should I be talking right now? Am I saying a lot of words that have no meaning, that serve no purpose? Sometimes we talk too much, and I catch myself doing this at times. And I'm learning more and more how to be more concise and precise. And when I can do that and give people, the information or the communication in the moment, what's needed right now, I mean, you could go into your whole life history, but don't. Just maybe give a little sliver, just a little point, and to share. And you discover that as you do that, and you allow them to speak, and then you speak, and then they speak, then it becomes a dialogue. It becomes a communication. You are entwined with them. You are braiding together in a state of oneness. You are finding your wholeness in the moment. So why am I talking? Good question, right? So there's many points here to think about and ideas for you today. And I would invite you to consider waiting and what it really means. Contemplate it, meditate on it, think about it, you know, and you'll get the revelation from it. You'll get the understanding, and it is life changing. It really, really is. All right. If you would like to make a donation to Unity, go to unitychurchofgreenville.org and you can make a donation on our website. Thank you for that. We've got the concert coming up this Friday with Blake Sims. It is a Broadway cabaret with desserts. There's still time for you to get your reservation in. We've still got a few more seats. If you want to be part of this, you can go to our website and you can see under the events page, that's where it will be listed, and you'll be able to make a reservation there. And then you'll have a seat when you show up, and we'll know that you paid, and you'll be able to get in and be a part of this wonderful program tonight. And even if you don't have the money to pay for the whole ticket, do the best you can and come on out anyway, because we want you to be there, because it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be very moving and uplifting, and we're just really excited about it. And all the funds that come in go to support our unity, mission, and vision. So we say thank you, Blake Sims, for helping us out. We appreciate you very, very, very much. Now, this Sunday, we're going to continue on this energy of spring, and we're going to talk a little bit about, the giants that show up in our lives, what we can do about those giants, and how we can, take them down to size so that we can deal with them. So join us this Sunday at 10:30. We'll have some music. We'll have a good time. It'll be wonderful to gather together. Join us live or join us right here on Facebook or YouTube or our website. 10:30 this coming Sunday. We love you. We appreciate you. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you soon.